Track wrestling here in Cedar Falls, Iowa at USA Wrestling Folk Style Nationals with Nebraska coach Mark Manning. Huskers coming off a 10th place finish at the NCAA Championships. 4 All-Americans, Tyler Berger in the finals. When you look back on the 2018-19 season, what are the thoughts that are most prominent in your mind?
Well, just the growth of our team, how they came together. That's what I remember, is how these guys really came together and wrestled for each other, became a team, and just how they got better individually up and down the lineup. And I think they see what we could do in the future. They see, you know, they left a lot of points out there this year at the Big Tens and at Nationals, and so there's a purpose to their off season, and so you know, we got a lot of work ahead of us, but they know there can be some great victories next year.
Yeah, super young roster. You lose Berger, but 4 All-Americans in total coming back with Taylor Venz, who was around to 12 this year. But what's next year's roster capable of when you plug in a couple of talented freshmen in that lineup potentially too?
Yeah, you know, it's all about how they do here in the off season and how they grow and develop, and I'm really excited. And you know, everyone's hopeful in the off season, but I think our guys have got a layer of mental toughness to them. They understand how close they are. We were really close in a number of high-profile duels, you know, and so Ohio State, we had 2 overtimes, and Iowa duel was very, very competitive. So we gotta be a little tougher in those situations. And you know, the NCAA tournament in the Big Ten's really boiled down to, you know, winning some overtimes and winning tight situations at the end of the matches. So we're excited about that, and hopefully we can build our mental toughness in the off season as well.
This is where it all began for you as a head coach here at Northern Iowa. What did you take away from those 3 seasons that were the greatest lessons you learned about being a head coach that are still sticking with you today?
Well, you learn how to manage people. That's the biggest thing, is you know, when you're an assistant coach, you're only worrying about yourself and the guys, and making the head coach happy. As a head coach, it's a whole nother ball game. You're managing 35 to 40 guys, their lives, and then your staff's lives. And you know, I love my time here, and I always have. I'm very grateful for you and I for giving me the opportunity. Chris Retrievi was our athletic director at the time, and giving me the opportunity, and I had Brad Penrith and Steve Hamilton and Tolly Thompson, and some great times together and some great moments. And you know, I see Randy Pugh walking by. I remember when he transferred back from the Naval Academy, and Eric Keller came in, and obviously everyone remembers Tony Davis and what he did, but you remember all those guys and how much work they put in to this program, and I just love it. I know, you know, Doug and Randy and his staff are doing a great job, and you know, a national champion this year, and you know, it's tough out there, and I just always grateful for my time here at UNI, and you know, it catapulted me where I'm at today, and I'm just very thankful and grateful for that.
Tony Davis, you mentioned his name. His name's come up a lot here in the last week since Drew Foster was their first national champion since Tony Davis in 2000. What made Tony Davis special?
Well, everyone knows he's really athletic, but Tony had he had a toughness to him. You know, people forget that he was a national runner-up his junior year, and he only had 2 years coming out of junior college. So, you know, for him to take national runner-up, got beat by his high school teammate, TJ Williams, which was probably tough to wrestle that guy growing up with, and then the next year being a national champion. So everyone knew he was really talented and athletic, but Tony Davis was really tough. And you know, it's he had a great resilience about him, and you know, he graduated in 5 years and went on. He's been a very successful teacher and a coach, and I'm really proud of how he turned out. And you know, that's his resilience and persistence is really stands out to me, besides being tough.
One of the things I didn't know until just earlier reading your bio, when you were here in Northern Iowa, your first year, you guys had the #2 recruiting class in the country. That was your first year as a head coach. How were you able to recruit so successfully, so quickly in your tenure?
Well, number one, I was single. And wrestling was my whole life, entire life, and that's what I did. 24/7, 365. I had coaches tell me from other prominent programs, Mark, don't go after all these big recruits. You're going to get your heart broken. You're going to waste your time. You're going to waste your money, and you don't have much money here at Northern Iowa. So whatever you have to spend on your recruiting budget, you're going to waste it. You're going to get your heart broken. You're going to get told no, and you're going to end up with the 4th best guy in the state of Iowa. You better recruit the 5th placer, the 6th, because the #1 guy's going to Iowa and the #2 guy's going to Iowa State, and you'll be lucky to get the 3rd best guy. And I got tired of people telling me how we're never going to be very good, and that always motivated me. And I never said anything to those guys, but they're prominent Hall of Fame coaches that would call me and try to give me advice. I don't know if they wanted me just to back off, but it was igniting my fire more than them trying to put the flames out. So those are the things I remember, that them calling me up saying, why'd you go after that guy? See, wasting your time. So, but I didn't look at it like that, because failure allowed success to come. And so we had a lot of great kids coming in. Here I left. Some really good, you know, Scott Barker being one of them, who ended up being national runner-up from Missouri, and there's a lot of other good kids. But I love my time here, and it helped me, you know, as a head coach. It helped me where I am at today at Nebraska.
What is recruiting like now versus 20 years ago?
It's really the same. It's just, you know, now you can recruit juniors besides seniors, and APR, academic progress rate. You know, you can't just come in and say, hey, you're on 40%, and I'm going to cut you, and I'm going to bring a different guy in, and, you know, you can't flip a roster. And that's what athletic directors, I think, understand. And also, you know, if you would maybe ask Kevin Dresser, it's not an easy flip, or Lou Roselli at Oklahoma. You just can't come in, because the average wrestling fan out there doesn't understand. Once you get under 930 academic progress rate, your team cannot go to the NCAA tournament. Individuals cannot compete in the NCAA tournament, and you'll probably be fired. So you can't come in and just flip a roster overnight and say, well, I want, you know, 10 new guys on 4 scholarships. It doesn't work that way. And so it's a lot different than it was when I was here at UNI. Not that we did that. It's just a standpoint of trying to flip the roster and bring new energy into the place. It's a tougher deal.
At the top, we mentioned Tyler Berger, NCAA runner-up last week. What are you going to miss about having him on your team?
Well, I'm going to miss just his maturity. What he brought to our team this year is, you know, last year he took 3rd. He had an okay season as a junior, but he had 10 overtimes, and he won every overtime. You know, probably 6 to 8 of those overtimes shouldn't have gone overtime, but he didn't extend himself. And that's what he learned from last year to this year, how to really extend himself, how to go get bonus points, how to compete when he's a little banged up. There were some dual mates the end of the year, he was not 100%, and he never complained. He just put his mind to it and said, you know what, coach, whatever this team needs, I'm going to do it. And that leadership is invaluable, and that's what I'll miss about him. But he's going to be in our room. He's going to be part of our RTC, and he's going to be part of our program for years to come. So.
Got to ask you about Jordan Burroughs too.
Yeah.
Coming off a really strong performance here about a month ago over in Bulgaria. What are you seeing out of him so far in 2019?
I see a very determined competitor. He's you know, Jordan's a competitor. You know, you got to kill him to beat him. So Jordan's got that eye of the tiger back in him, and he understands he's got, you know, 14, 15 months of wrestling left, and then his career's over. So we've talked at length about the narrative and moving forward toward being a world champion this year, and then a quick turnaround in the Olympic Games in Tokyo come up quick in August 2020. So it's going to come fast and furious. Jordan's ready for it, and he's really anxious to be on top of the podium again, and he's really looking forward to this last, you know, the kind of twilight years of his career.